welcome to another episode of Sharing Sauce with Sham. Today we have the lovely Heather here to share her virtual assistant journey and where she is today. The name of her business is Office Guru for You.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know why that was such a tongue twister for me, but I've been trying to remember for the last 2 days. I'm like, am I saying that right? So yeah, we have Heather here from Office Guru for You, and she's going to be telling us all about her journey today. And so, Heather, if you want to get started and just let us know, like, what initially got you into the virtual assistant space?
Heard of a virtual assistant until the fall of 20, pretty late to the party. I ran into a mentor of mine at a party and
Mhm.
not, loving my current position and said, you'd make a great VA. And I was like, what's a VA? So, like I said, I'm late to the party in that aspect. But as soon as I knew, what it was
Mhm.
with it.
Right, because I'm sure you already, we already have like these backgrounds that fit right into the virtual assistant space that we have no clue because they make it seem like it's all this administrative work, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so much deeper than just administrative work as a virtual assistant, right? Sometimes we're the only person like holding someone's entire business together, right? So we're doing management, we're, organizing their account, like we're doing so much. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're late to the party. You're right on time to the party. You just had to find your space at the party.
Yeah.
Um, can you share with us like a pivotal moment or personal circumstance that kind of led to that career path? Like,
Um, well, that kind of was it.
okay, like
When she
business
said that,
partnering
she actually became this same person actually became my first client.
oh,
Um, so I started just with her in October of 2018,
uh-huh.
and she became between word, her referring me and word of mouth, as I took on people.
Mhm.
I incorporated February of 2019 and never really looked back.
Okay.
Um, I was working a full-time job when I first started.
Mhm.
I'm not a gambler by nature. So, taking that big jump of, oh, yeah, this is just me now 100%.
Yeah.
Um, in the beginning, it was, hey, this is great extra money. I had kids getting ready to go to college. And so, it was a great
Yeah.
thing at that time. And then, it just kind of evolved over time how I ended up doing it full time.
Yeah, and I think that's great to let people know like how it's okay to have your 9 to 5 and stay at that 9 to 5 until you feel stable and secure to leave
Yes.
because let me tell you, on the internet when you get into this space like everybody's just saying like it just almost seems like they say you can't be an entrepreneur if you have a 9 to 5, but it's just so far from the truth. Like you would be crazy to leave your 9 to 5 and
Right.
become a virtual assistant and not have a plan, right? Like unless you have
Exactly.
no other choice, I 10 out of 10 don't recommend that. So
Yes, I
yeah,
would agree.
yeah. So in the early stages of your business, what would you say were like some of the biggest challenges you faced, like as far as like adjusting from the employee mindset to a business owner?
Um, I think I was my biggest obstacle.
Hmm.
Um, I am not someone who comfortably puts myself out there.
Hmm.
Um, asking people for, to work for them feels like asking for money, which is,
Yeah.
it's an icky feeling. Um, so just uh, going into things, conversations confidently, but not salesy,
Right.
is more my style.
Yeah.
Um, and then I knew I could do the tasks because the things that I offer are things I'd been doing for 20 years. So I knew the work itself I could do. It was the whole, you know, am I going to be able to sustain this? Can I get
Yeah.
more and more business and be able to really make a go of things?
Yeah. What kind of helped shift you into getting into that mindset so that you could be comfortable having those conversations with potential clients to land them?
I think feedback from people you're already doing work for, you know,
Hmm.
that's a big confidence booster.
Yeah.
When you see the impact you can have on someone else. I mean, really, when you come from a place of how you can help someone, that's completely different than selling them.
Hmm.
So, I think that's really have to carry.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's so important. Yeah, because we're offering them a service, right? And we're offering them a solution to their problems. And
Exactly.
so if you offer that solution, hands down, they're easily signing up with you, right? Because you've just solved that problem they've been trying to fix for a long time there. So
Right.
so I love that because I'm not a salesy person myself. I hate sales, which is crazy as a business owner, but I hate
Yeah.
it so much. But you get comfortable, you adjust, and you figure out what works for you in the sales industry and how you can do it without being icky, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
yeah, because we talked about that a little bit earlier. I did another interview and she was saying how she felt like people were like, it's like a money grab,
Hmm.
like some virtual assistants don't have like this customer service base because they got into this space not really to help, it's just to get money, right? Additional
Hmm.
stream of income. And so I think a lot of that has taken away great customer service from this industry, which is key, right? Like you need great customer service to flourish in a business, and everybody's wondering why they can't retain their clients because you're saying I don't. Well, what do you do? Like,
Right. Right. I have the opposite problem. I have a no problem.
yes, me too. Me too. I used to. I would say I used to. Sometimes slightly a little bit.
Yeah.
Still now
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser working your way out of that, right?
Exactly. Recovering people pleaser. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. As you got into this space, what would you say is like the skill set that kind of set you apart from other virtual assistants that you found?
Well, I have a very specialized demographic.
Mhm.
So I work specifically with pediatric speech, OT, and PT practitioners.
Mm,
So that's a pretty
that is.
niche down. um, because that's what my background was in.
Mhm.
The early part of my career, my education and early part of my career were in marketing. And
Okay.
then in a pediatric private practice doing literally everything except therapy. So, that's where I'm comfortable. That's
Mhm.
what I know how to do.
Yeah, that's good because that shows, I think that shows people that you don't have to come into this space and just start as just a basic administrative assistant, right? You can leverage the current skill set you have to get into this space. And also that sets you apart because you don't have to start at the beginning with entry level income, right? You can transfer, like, if you're making $40 an hour at your job, you can start in this space as long as you are selling yourself appropriately, so like selling your expertise in this industry. So I think that's really good to know because that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. Like you don't have to
Right.
come in and just offer automations or different things like that for online business owners. Like there's people that have like actual brick and mortars that need your virtual assistant services. So
Oh yeah. All of my clients have well, most of my clients have brick and mortar businesses.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and your point being specialized, I do think is important. I think you're more likely to be successful if you have a specialty.
Mhm.
Um, just because it'll help you stand out from the crowd. There are a lot of assistants, and I mean, yes, there's plenty of business to go around for everybody.
Yeah,
How many billion people are on this planet? You're not going to hit everybody.
right.
Um, but I do think you're more likely to be successful if you have something extra to
Right.
offer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point that you have to find a way to stand out no matter what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, whether that's your personality showing up online, like whatever it is, you got to find a way to stand out and show people that you can solve their problem because if they don't know you can solve their problem. And I think a lot of virtual assistants get into that with content. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like their content is more so towards coaching other people getting in the space than toward their ideal client, finding them online and knowing what services they offer and how they could help them in their business.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's important for people to know. So can you walk us through a significant transformation you've had so far in your business and maybe how that is different than what you've seen when you initially got started in this space?
Yes. Well, like I said, when I started, I was part-time and this was extra college money. And that transformed to leaving my full-time job and this being my full-time job, and has further evolved to having a small team working with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had told me in October of 2018 that that's where I would be 5 years later, um, then I would have thought you were crazy.
Right, right. It's amazing how things change once you get into this space and how they evolve so quickly if you meet the
Mhm.
right people or if you do great work. Like I tell people all the time, if you do great work, you don't have to look for clients, they'll find you because people are going to be referring and saying your names in rooms that you've never even been in. So it's
Mhm.
always great to focus on that. You know, your work ethic and, knowledge base and all that good stuff so that you really stand out to the people
Right.
that you actually work with. So when you
Absolutely.
got started, like where did you have a mentor like or any resources that really helped catapult you into this space or
I did. So the same one who told me, you know, what a VA and became my first client has been instrumental in helping me grow.
Mhm.
Um, she herself is a business owner, so it's great to have someone to bounce things off of, and to be
Mhm.
your cheerleader when you need that, and you know tell you that you're in the right space, you're doing what you're meant to do. Everybody needs that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so amazing how like your first client is the one who put you in the space. Like I've never met anybody who like their client was like, you should be here. Like this is what you should do. So that means like, you were already speaking for yourself before you even like your work ethic was speaking for itself before you even got into this space. Like they knew you would be a good fit for this. So I think that's awesome. Cause I'm sure she's probably had other virtual assistants and she's probably like, I know Heather can do this 10 times better. you know?
It was more, I don't want to do this anymore, but I know Heather can.
That works too. But I think that's awesome. I think it's so cool. Yeah. So can a lot of women who are trying to get into this space, they might feel uncertain or they might feel like they're not qualified to be a business owner. Like what is some advice you would give someone who's passionate about like really helping businesses succeed, but they're intimidated by getting into this space?
Research.
Hmm.
You, I think, kind of taking a inventory of yourself, like what's your skill set, what do you like doing, what problems can those skills solve for someone else. Start thinking about who your ideal client is going to be, what service, um, and then finding where those people live,
Right.
so that you can get the word out to, that you're there.
Hmm.
The rest of it, kind of evolves over time. You develop your systems. I think experience is the best teacher, and sometimes mistakes are your best teacher.
Yeah.
Um, Gotten burned by a client or a situation, and you come out of that, stronger and smarter.
Smarter. Hmm.
Um, Expect you're not going to be perfect. You'll make mistakes, and
Yeah.
and those are great learning opportunities.
Right. Right. I think that is very key um in this space that I think you just got to do it, right? Like
Right.
you said, life or doing the work is your best teacher. You're going to get out here, you're going to start doing things and it helps you discover, I think it helps you discover like what you really want to do as well. in the space. Like you get
Mm-hmm.
out here, you might think, oh, really like administrative work, but you might find you really like tech support, because
Mm-hmm.
the more you get into it, like if you're working with a solopreneur, they're going to teach you all aspects of the game. Because I don't know if you've niched down. I know you niche down in your services, like who you work with, but do you offer only certain services to those providers as well? Or do you have an array of services you offer to them?
Yeah, no, that's grown over time too.
Hmm.
Not that I mean, there are things that I most of them are things I had already done in the past, but when I started out, I was just doing newsletters and social media.
Hmm.
Um, and then, I had one client you're doing that for, and they say, "Oh, hey, do you do bookkeeping?" So then I would start doing their books, and then, could you take over this payroll? Could you? I need to get credentialed with insurance. Can you do my insurance billing? So
That's
you're nodding, you know the story.
yeah, yeah, that's just how it works. Like you just become this all around go-to person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really into like becoming more knowledgeable in what the space has to offer, you're gonna be a yes man for a while, because you want to know, like, do maybe I might like this, maybe I can offer this service to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a good point. That you
Yeah,
just
and you learn the things you don't want to do.
okay. Like effective in 2 months, I will no longer.
Yeah, that was a one and done.
Yes, that is a good way to look at it, because man, I've learned some things I hate doing. And I offered some things I hated initially because I thought that's what you had to do. Like you had
Yes,
to offer those things. I'm like, Shamika, you hate this and you don't even want to do it. So it's bad. Like doing everything for your clients last minute. So you guys, if you're watching this, do not do anything you hate, because you will hate working your business and you don't want to do that. You don't
right.
want to
I
do
know, and it's so easy to fall into when you're starting out because you don't want to turn business away.
it. Hmm.
But I mean, we've all done it.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
yes, I'll do that. And then you're like, "Ugh."
yeah, because sometimes like I learned you get stuck in that and you're stuck there
Right,
for a year or two and you're like, I'm trying to get out of that. I don't want to do it anymore. But you put
right.
yourself there. So try not to put yourself there if you can avoid it at all. Like just let them
Mm-hmm.
know. There's ways to let them down easy. Like, hey, I'm gonna help you do this. I don't like to do it. So don't ask me again. That just tells them, don't ask me again after this project. This is it. you know?
Yeah, don't tell anybody else I do this for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so now that you're in this space and you're successful in this space, like how would you say this has impacted like your personal life and work life balance and all those good things? What benefits have you discovered?
The flexibility is amazing.
Mhm.
Um, so my husband still plays travel softball.
Okay.
Um, and because as long as I have an internet connection, I can work. That lets me, when he plays somewhere fun like Florida, I
Hmm.
can go with him. We live in the Midwest, so if I can go to Florida in January, yeah, I'm going.
Okay. I hear
Um,
that.
you amazing how much more fun work is when you're looking at the beach.
Okay. That's
So I would say
awesome.
flexibility, and if my kids need something the day, I can
Hmm.
stop and do that. I my one regret is I dinner when they were younger. Um,
Hmm.
but yes, I would say flexibility 100% because, like I
Yeah.
said, internet anywhere there's an internet connection, you can work.
You can work, yeah. That is a good one, because if I had that back in the day when I was at my oldest too, like all those games and everything, I'm like, I could have been doing this all along. Like I could have taken my laptop. I was doing college work at their games. I could have done virtual assisting and made money, and maybe I wouldn't owe Sally Mae all this money.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Were there any moments like you felt like self-doubt or like imposter syndrome creeping in even after you had success in this business?
More so when I first started, like when
Mhm.
after I quit my full time old do this full time, I was like, you have that little moment of fear. You've let that security blanket go, and you're like, what made me think this was a good idea? But you know, when you start getting feedback from clients you've made for them,
Mm-hmm.
and them taking back their lives, you know, that's a pretty good indicator you're where you're meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. So looking back on your journey, like what would you say like is a milestone that really stands out um that you're really proud of?
Um, well, not, I guess when I made the leap from part-time to full-time,
Hmm.
it was because I had been working with one of my clients who she has a brick and mortar, and she had two people in her office that she was having a hard time keeping those two positions filled. So
Hmm.
one was like a front office, like an intake coordinator.
Hmm.
Um, and she kept hiring college girls who were great, you know, at doing the job. It's just that's a guaranteed short-term employee because once they graduate, they're gone.
Right.
So, you know, there was this revolving door, and I was helping her recruit and do phone interviews to fill those positions, and nothing was really the right fit.
Yeah.
So this light bulb went off in my head, and I went, description for this position and this one for this, and what I'm already doing for her. And I pitched to her, which so out of my comfort zone to put myself out there like that. Like, here's what I'm doing for you now, and these are the things you need from these people. What if I took, you know, these tasks? You hire
Hmm.
one person for the front office, I do all those other tasks. And
Hmm.
that was enough that allowed me to leave my job.
See how that standing up and being confident and finding those ways where you can get a increase in what they're offering you, like those things
Mm-hmm.
are really important. I think that's a really good accomplishment because like you said, we're always so afraid of the money part because you don't want to be like, you don't want to seem pushy and then they're like, well, I just don't need you at all because you're always trying to sell yourself and upgrade your package or whatever the case may be. But look how it
Mm-hmm.
changed your life. It literally
Mm-hmm.
changed your life being bold and putting together a proposal that made sense for that business owner. And I'm sure like she's probably like, that's the best decision she ever made, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like a win-win for everybody.
And that's what you need. I mean, that's how you get clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people are like so many people are just afraid to pitch themselves. And I was telling someone it's okay to start as a contractor if you're afraid of doing that, but like definitely study your craft and study discovery calls and get as much practice as you can working as a subcontractor because eventually you're going to want to go out on your own if you plan to leave your 9 to 5 or anything. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't think it's sustainable to do unless you're working for some type of big agency I don't know about in this space that can afford to pay you like $100,000 a year, right? So you're going to really need to hone in on your own skill set and at least have some clients outside of your contracts or something so that you can really make the income you want to make for yourself. So I think that was really a good point there. Um, if there were women listening to us today who are looking to get into this space, like what are some things that you wish or a thing that you wish someone had told you in the beginning that would have made your journey easier?
Um, get out of your own way. um, knowing, don't let fear control,
Control
you
your
know, how
yeah.
you move forward.
Hmm. That's a
You
good
have
one.
to, you have to really get out of your own way. You know,
Hmm.
of that whole fear of entrepreneurship thing. Fear is a healthy thing. I mean, because you care about what you're.
Right.
So um, yeah, just
Yeah.
if you know that's what you want, then do the research, put yourself start yourself out
Hmm.
in a good way. Tasha Booth, who's a friend of both of ours, I love her analogy of we're all flying the plane while we're building.
That's a good one.
It is.
Yeah, because it's scary, but right, like you don't know what you're capable of unless
Mhm.
you start, right?
Right. Right.
And as someone who, I often hear people who say, well, I'm an introvert. And I'm like, I'm a severe introvert. Like, you
Mhm.
may not be able to tell when I show up in my workspaces online, but it's because I've changed my mindset to say, like, if I don't show up, who will, right? It's my business.
Mhm.
I have to show up. And so you become more comfortable and you grow in those things. They're not saying that there won't be times that they're going to be overwhelmed. Like when I get to networking in person, like I'm like, oh my God, like people like they
Uh,
take so much energy from you as an introvert. And I may be smiling, but on the inside, I'm dying. Like I
yes.
gotta get out of here so I can like be
Hmm.
alone and regenerate myself because I'm like overwhelmed. So you'll
A
find
thousand percent.
yeah, so if you guys are listening to us, like there's no excuse. You can be an introvert and be successful in this business. You just have to get out of your own mind, like Heather was saying, and really push yourself forward and remove the fear because you got to do it ugly. I look back on some of my stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like what were you posting? You were looking crazy. What were you even talking about, right? But but I just did it. And the
Hmm.
thing is the people who need that want to hire you and things like that, you know more than them, even though you feel like you look a mess or whatever you may feel about yourself. You are knowledgeable in your space. And so be confident in that and really hone in on that. I think that was key when you said that there. So if anybody is looking to work with you, let us know if you're taking on any new clients, where they can find you on social to follow you, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, can my website is officeguruforyou.com. Um, and yes, we're always, looking for our right fit client. So yeah,
A lady of little words, but mighty.
I
Okay.
told you I don't like to promote myself.
She has a great business and I think you are really instrumental in the industry that you're in. Like I have run into nobody who's like working with pediatrics, and I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't run into anybody who's actually capitalizing on people who have the brick and mortar spaces that you can actually do work with online. Like you just have to figure out what services you can offer to them virtually and kind of go for that. I know it's probably much deeper than that because I'm not in the medical space, I'm from the legal space, but there's a way for you to do it because Heather is your example. She is from that space and she is doing those things. And so it is possible for you to do those things as well. And before we get out of here, Heather, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the people?
Um, I think, like we said, get out of your own way and look at it as by not offering your skills to people who could use them, doing them a disservice. You're
Yes.
letting people flounder that you could be facilitating success for. So
Yes,
it's
I
your
love
duty.
it is your duty. You heard that. 2025, the people who are waiting for you to come into their business and make these changes, they're waiting for you. And if you are doing them a disservice, if you're not out there promoting your virtual assistant business and the services you offer, you heard it from Heather. So, you guys, I just want to thank you guys for showing up and watching another episode of Sharing Sauce with Sham. We are here to really encourage anyone looking to get into this space as a woman or, even as a man. If you are not happy with your 9 to 5, or even if you're happy with your 9 to 5 and you're just looking for a way to supplement your income for you and your family, like times are really hard out here. Let's just be honest. Times are hard. All entrepreneurs that I know, as I've become an entrepreneur, have multiple streams of income. Nobody just has a 9 to 5 or one stream of income. So even if you don't want to quit, having multiple streams of income is a smart choice in today's society. And you can do it. You just have to adjust your mindset from employee to business owner. And don't forget the good customer service, you guys. Until next time.